Hello, everyone. My name is Deirdre Pike. Welcome to Outing the Conversation, a show we take out of the studio and into the community. We want to take conversations out of the closet and into the hearts and minds of Hamiltonians. Today, we are outing the story of the Rainbow Kings and Queens. This is a group of over 400 asylum seekers and refugees who now live in Hamilton. They had to escape their countries of origin because of their sexual orientation and the policies in their countries which condemn them to die. They started arriving in Canada in the fall of 2023, especially after Uganda passed an anti-homosexuality bill. It's known as one of the world's harshest bills. In fact, here's one of the death-dealing lines from it. A person who commits the offense of homosexuality in any circumstance commits the offense of aggravated homosexuality and is liable on conviction to suffer death. The treatment of allies who harbor someone known to be part of the LGBTQ community is equally horrifying, often death at the hands of the community or officially facing up to 20 years imprisonment. Today, we have with us 3 of the courageous Rainbow Kings and Queens who now reside in Hamilton, along with one of their strong supporters from a partnering organization. Let's meet them and get this conversation out into the open. To my left is Simon Mburu. Simon is one of the founding Rainbow Kings, and we met right at the beginning. He's from Kenya, and he's going to tell you all about what's been happening with him in Hamilton. To my right is Zipola Atuhaire, originally from Uganda. Zipola is a member of the steering committee, and they organize the meetings and the events of the Rainbow Kings and Queens. Juliet Ogwang. Juliet Ogwang is another Rainbow Queen hailing from Uganda. Juliet is often the MC of the monthly meetings and is the voice of hospitality on the WhatsApp group where members meet and get tips about life in Hamilton and find out about the activities of the group. And finally, a strong ally and supporter to the Rainbow Kings and Queens is Molly Bozarth. She's the head chef and kitchen supervisor at the Cathedral Cafe, just next door in this space. We are at Christ's Church Cathedral in downtown Hamilton, where the Rainbow Kings and Queens meet. And Molly is one of the key people who help the monthly meetings, especially around food security and making sure that people have what they need, including some familiar African dishes. All right, full disclosure. Dear audience, I am a bit part of the Rainbow Kings and Queens since I've been around from the beginning. And I do this not alone. I do this with someone named Lynn Dykeman from St. James Anglican Church in Dundas, as well as we have many other advisors around some immigration issues and people who help us on a regular basis. So while I'm familiar with the Rainbow Kings and Queens, what I want to do is out them to you. And I'm going to start that by talking about how it came to be that I met Simon doing some furniture delivery. And during that time, some seeds were planted to start the Rainbow Kings and Queens. What happened that day between us?
For this opportunity. I remember very well during those moments we were working as volunteers for the project which was from the St. James Anglican Church, where we were moving furnitures, and both of us were volunteers. You were working as a driver, and I was working I was helping in moving furnitures. And I remember very well we had, you were very talkative on the track. We had a conversation whereby you talked about LGBT community, though by then I could not speak out because I didn't have that confidence by then. So that's when I realized that you are part of me and you're part of us, and I decided to come out to you, and that's when you realized, oh, you flew from your country because you feared persecution because of your sexual orientation. And that's how we happened to start a group, and from that group, Kings and Queens was born.
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that very first, the WhatsApp group was how many people? 12 or so at the beginning?
Yeah, at the beginning, the group was 12 individuals. We met at the church for the first meeting, and eventually it has been fruitful because right now we have more than 400 participants in the group. Yeah.
Zipola came along just after we started, I think, and we had originally met at the Cathedral Cafe space, which held, we thought, enough space. We began originally with 35, we grew to 50, then all of a sudden you had over hundreds of members. But about 120 now come every month, and now we meet in this larger space. What has this group brought to you? And I know that you're from Uganda, and so that's where this most hateful law had started. So how has all of this impacted you and your life here now?
Coming from an environment where you are very cautious to be who you are, live your authentic self, this community has allowed me to have the conversations openly, meet people from the different backgrounds that have gone through even worse situations than I have been, sharing the stories over a meal, asking questions regarding houses, regarding immigration policies and the process. I've been able to make lots and lots of friends from this community. I will tell you that where we come from, there's always that sense of community. Walking on the street, you meet someone that you know, but this group has brought that what we were supposed to have from Africa to here, and we do not feel alone. So I'm super, super grateful that I have met these wonderful individuals that have impacted my life and have made my life here very, very easy. Yes.
How was it for you when those laws were passed in Uganda? Were you still there in May of 2023?
Yes.
And what was that like for you?
There had been heated discussions on the floor of Parliament and in the different communities that we're coming from. So our line of defense was to take a back seat and watch what was going on. But then unfortunately for me and my girlfriend at the time, we sort of found ourselves in a predicament where my husband walked in on us, me and her, and it was such a big case in the community. We had to be taken to jail. Myself, I spent, I think, 6 hours in jail until I was bailed out and given a bond. That was 2 months before the bill was signed by the president. At the time when they signed it, I knew that that was the time that I was supposed to find refuge somewhere, and that's when I got the idea of coming to Canada. And I was, in fact, unfortunately, I'm one of the very, very few lucky ones that managed to come. The peace that came with stepping my first foot off that plane at Pearson, I cannot explain it. But then again, coming with the uncertainty of being in a new space, new land, we don't know what's going on here. It was very difficult. But by end of July, beginning of August, things felt a lot different, and I have never looked back. I have felt safe. I have felt myself. I can speak up anytime I want. I can, in fact, I've had several discussions with several members of the community about my experience, and they are able to hear me, and that's been great for me.
That's wonderful. That's great. Thank you. Juliet, you also came from Uganda.
That's right.
Yeah, so that the same bill must have impacted you in some of the choices that you had to make to leave. Yeah. Now that you've come here, you've become, again, as many of the Rainbow Kings and Queens have, integrated into community and also taking roles as leaders within this group yourselves. And I've seen you welcome the former Premier of Ontario to this space. The Rainbow Kings and Queens have attracted the attention of the first openly gay member of parliament, Sven Robinson, who came to Hamilton, and there's an opportunity to meet. So there you are as a leader now of this amazing group. How does that feel in juxtaposition with what you had to escape?
Thank you very much, Pike. I must say that when the bill was passed in Uganda, it was like the last nail into the coffin, because having escaped several attempts, having been jailed once, resigned from my job, and my kids being sent away from school because of, they say always the negative information spreads more than. Then at one point in time, I had to, my father denied me because of my sexual orientation. And then I was almost about to get married, but when my ex-husband, boyfriend, discovered that I had a girlfriend, he really made it look like whoever was ready to hear had to hear. Because, you know, it is like an abomination in an African society. For them, it's not heard of. But then one thing I realized, that it's better to choose who you are than to lead a life and hide into the closet. That's one thing I did. Thank you very much. So when I sat down and then looked at how things were going, you couldn't walk onto the street. People would point fingers at you, even however much you try to pretend, but that there is that side of you that cannot be hidden. And then they always say that the truth will always set you free. Yeah. So I had some friends who managed to come to Canada. And of course, after hearing in news, we realized that Canada was one of the countries that was welcoming people of the same sexual orientation. Of course, it was very hard to leave, because after being arrested, you can't go and process your documents. So everything has to be done quietly. When you're at the airport to leave, of course on police bond, you are not supposed to leave.
These stories, and this is 3 stories from 2 of the countries that have made up the origins of the Rainbow Kings and Queens. We also have many members from, there's Uganda and Kenya, we have Nigeria, Rwanda, Sierra Leone, Cameroon, I'm missing one, Ghana, and no matter where they have come from, you all shared these painful experiences. Molly, you and I have come out in Canada, where we thought it was tough enough in our own different ways. Me as a dyke, as a lesbian, and you're going to share your own story, I know, a bit with us. And what brings you to support the Rainbow Kings and Queens when you hear the suffering that they've been through, and what you're able to provide in terms of the joy that you bring them on their monthly meetings, and why you're here.
Yeah, so like you said, you and me came out in Canada, which had its own challenges, but I never feared for my life or safety, really. It's losing career and unaccepting family member type stuff. So when you approached me to do a special meal for them, because at St. Matt's at the cafe here, we serve breakfast and lunch 6 days a week, and your meetings are in the evening. So we identified there was this time where we could start to prep and cook another meal, and we could make it African and choose a country and the dignity of the local cuisine that was half left behind. I thought it was a great idea. Our kitchen staff is only 3 people, but 2 of us are queer and 1 is from Africa. So we all felt like really good about it. And it started as a one-time thing. We did the ordering together. We stayed and helped, like assigned kitchen helpers. People got their food safety in Canada. And it went really well. And now we do it every month. And it's a highlight of the month, honestly. And I feel such a connection to this group. Seeing just Simon, someone I've made special connection with, brings me such joy. And it's just really an amazing thing. And happy to do it. Food security is really important. And yeah, it's been going really well.
Yeah, it sure has. And what are one of the Ugandan dishes that we've been able to provide?
I think we've pretty much gone through everything that we have back home. We have cassava, we have had matoke, we have had the famous chapati, and the Kenyans love the ugali. So yeah, we've really been able to get all the types of food that we would enjoy back home here. Yeah. So
Then the Nigerians love jollof rice.
Yeah. I have to say, I do actually align with the Nigerians when it comes to spice. I like their spicy rice.
We had the opportunity to try each and every African food from every different country, especially from the Nigerians, the jolly rice and the spicy rice. Yeah, and matoke from Uganda. I love that.
Yeah. So, you know, it's wonderful that, I mean, in 2023, it was that under the Trudeau government, Canada opened up the numbers through the Rainbow Railroad to bring in LGBTQ refugees from Africa. And so here you are, settled in the city in Hamilton, over 400. Of course, there's, you know, many more throughout Canada. But in Hamilton, what have you found helpful about integrating into our community? And let's start with that. Let's start with what's been helpful. What have you found in terms of maybe work or school or other things outside the Rainbow Kings and Queens? Yeah, Simon, do you want to?
Yeah, I think Hamilton, it's a very welcoming community because I can remember when I first came here from Toronto. I think I spent 2 nights outside, but after those 2 nights, I was lucky enough to get a place to live, and that's why I was enrolled at Salvation Army, that a shelter just in downtown. And from there, the caseworkers from there will help you maneuver around on getting somewhere to stay, and afterwards they look for apartment for you. And when I moved out from the shelter and I found my own apartment, I came to realize the community is so much welcoming, and I was so happy because of that, because I could no longer now feel I would feel safer than the way I felt unsafe back home. And that's when I realized that I'm the best place and I'm still in the good place that I'm supposed to be.
That's wonderful. Yeah. How does that feel for you?
for me, I've come to learn that when you're in, for instance, if you're going into a mall like Jackson Square, you'll find somebody walking ahead of you and they'll open a door for you. You know, that's not something common back home.
Oh, no?
So they'll open a door for you and then you enter, and they use please a lot. Mm-hmm. And if you find somebody on the street, because we usually get lost a lot when we have just come, you find somebody on the street, you ask them, I'd like to go to this place, I'm stuck on where I should take the bus from. They'll be willing to drop whatever they're doing to, escort you to the next bus stop, or to, give you the directions that you need. I am currently staying with a Canadian roommate, mm-hmm. and she's been wonderful. She gives information anytime, anywhere. In the middle of the night, send high text, she'll be there to respond. Mm-hmm. I was in the hospital once, and she was there on my case saying, "Oh, are you okay? I'll come there and help you." Canadians are very nice, polite people. I could not have imagined myself living anywhere else other than here, and I've never felt unsafe. Every time I get on the street, I do not look back, I do not look sideways, because I know that there's nothing going to happen to me. I am safe. There's value for life.
When you mention that, safety, one of the groups that we also have a partnership with besides St. Matt's is the Hamilton Police Services, who have hosted barbecues for us and come to speak. Can you talk about that, Juliette, perhaps? What does that feel like when you've had negative police experiences, obviously, back home, compared to, I think I've seen a picture of you with someone in a uniform here.
Sure. It's really a very big difference, because first of all, in my country, in Uganda, you expect the police to come to your rescue in case you have a problem. But in Uganda, it's basing on my sexual orientation, it's instead the opposite. Because once you try to go to the police, instead of them listening to you, they're going to put you behind bars. But then instead in Canada, I was really very surprised when we went for the Pride March, and I took a photo with the police lady, and her uniform had police with the rainbow colors. So really, I feel like, as my friend here has said, Zippy, you walk onto the street, you wear your rainbow t-shirt, and then you know there is no one going to pass judgment on you. You can walk with your girlfriend and hold hands, and the couple or the person in front of you will give you a very beautiful smile.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
So the police make life very easy in that they really know what they're supposed to do, maintaining the law and order. And now the last talk we had, they took us through crime hate, but I'm so happy that personally I've not experienced that, and no one in our group has so far experienced that. So the police always come out to sensitize us, especially on how to behave and how to avoid some negative behaviors in the community, which is really very good. We really appreciate them taking their time to come and have talks with us.
Who are some of the speakers that you've recalled that have meant a lot to you? We've had so many, eh?
Yeah, we have so many. We have had so many speakers during our meetings, because we have meetings every month. We have had a speaker from the police, the worker from the police. We have had a speaker from, what is it? I'm forgetting.
The employment.
The employment. We have the speakers from the immigrations. We have still lawyers who have been guiding us on how to go about our cases. And still we are planning on, to have more speakers as we have our meetings along. Yep.
These are pretty great shirts that you have, the Rainbow Kings and Queens tie-dye. Yeah. I think those are also through St. Matt's. And again, you know, I want to just stress that partnership has been great that way too. You know, Madeline from St. Matt's has helped with the tie-dye. And I wondered if there was, you know, more that you wanted to share about how you've created the space within the cafe for the Kings and Queens to have their food and so on.
Sure, yeah. So at St. Matt's, we have a bunch of different programs, and at this point, it feels like Kings and Queens is another one. We have street outreach, and we have a food bank, and in our warehouse, we have different shelves for each of our programs, and the Kings and Queens have their own shelf now where we can stock up supplies and the special spices and save the drinks that get the good reviews, and put the special requests. And yeah, so it's just been growing, and it really feels like a true part of St. Matt's at this point.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, I think that we have some plans for the year ahead. You have events. I mean, it's your steering committee. I know that there'll be every year. Pride is a big thing. You took the train to Toronto together. We saw you all in Hamilton Pride together, which was really great. And so I think as you carry on, I just want to thank you for being so open to share your stories with, you know, your lives with us, really, in Hamilton. And Hamilton is richer because you are here. And I know that we wish you the very best in terms of rebuilding your lives and all that we can provide. I want to thank especially St. Matt's House and the Cathedral and the Diocese of Niagara as a partner also, I think, is very supportive. So, and most of all, thank you very much, the Cable 14 audience, to Outing the Conversation. Today, we have brought you this fabulous information about the Rainbow Kings and Queens and the people who have settled in this great city. If you have other ideas about who and what you would like to see outed in this community and in this space, please send me a note to outingtheconvo@gmail.com. My name is Deirdre Pike, and it's been a pleasure to have you outing the conversation.